Hey guys, GSP on GSP Talk Sports here, and we're talking football. Round 16. Round 16 going on this week, and we have some really interesting games coming up. Let's get right into it. Saturday in the EPL, we have Chelsea versus Everton. Chelsea are in 5th place versus 7th place Everton, high-flying Everton, surprisingly. Chelsea coming off a 2-1 loss to Atalanta in the Champions League. And before that, they had the 0-0 with Bournemouth. And Everton coming off a 3-0 win over Nottingham Forest last time. Chelsea with 6 goals in the last 5. Delap injured. Caicedo still out with his suspension. Everton with 8 in the last 5. And 4 wins in the last 5 for Everton. David Moyes, boy, what would Liverpool do for something like that right now? Looking at this one, I'm going to go out on a limb. Chelsea win. So, Alex, Chelsea man, I hope you all don't disappoint me with this prediction here. Moving on, Liverpool versus Brighton. Liverpool in 10th. Just 3 points off 4th though, yeah. And Brighton in 8th. And Liverpool coming off the big 1-0 win to Inter. And unbeaten in the last 4. Yeah, Liverpool. 2 wins and 2 draws. Brighton with 8 in the last 5. Yeah, and I have Mr. Welbeck in great form. Liverpool with 8 goals in the last 5 and have not drawn the last 4 with Brighton. So expecting a result here. But Isak, Chiesa, Frimpong, Endo, Gakpo, all these men injured. Bradley suspended. So kind of thin on outfield players. Still going to go with a Liverpool win here in my prediction. So hoping for the best. Burnley, 19th place versus 15th place Fulham. Burnley coming off the 2-1 loss to Newcastle and Fulham coming off a 2-1 loss to Palace. So both of them looking to bounce back here. Burnley with only 4 in the last 5, but they haven't lost to Fulham in the last 6. And Fulham with 8 in the last 5. And interesting one here with these Burnley in relegation, Fulham bottom half. I'm going to go with a draw though, Burnley versus Fulham. So, yeah. Arsenal, first place versus, well, wobbling a bit if you ask me. Yeah, Neil, what's going on there with your side? Versus Wolves in 20th. So, Arsenal coming off the 3-0 win over Club Brugge in the Champions League. A big win there for them. And Wolves coming off the 4-1 loss to Man U. Predicted for them to bounce back against Man U there. They didn't live up to my expectations. Arsenal with 10 in the last 5 and the most clean sheets 8. And Wolves with 1 goal in the last 5 and no win or no clean sheets in the last 11. Can Wolves do it against Arsenal here? Arsenal hasn't lost to Wolves in the last 8 meetings, and I know Arsenal going through a lot of injuries at the moment, but I can't predict nothing other than an Arsenal win here. So, let's see. Continuing Saturday in La Liga, we have Barca versus Osasuna. Barca in top of the table in La Liga at the moment versus Osasuna in 15th, surprisingly. Barca coming off the 2-1 win over Frankfurt in Champions League, and Osasuna had a 2-0 win over Levante last time out. Barca with 13 in the last 5, but no clean sheets in the last 5 though. Osasuna with 10 in the last 5, so they have been scoring goals. Hoping for upset, but had to go with a Barca win here. So, Barca to take it against Osasuna. Hope I'm wrong. Sunday in EPL. So, we're moving on to the Sunday. We have 4th place Palace. So, high-flying Palace versus 2nd place City. City just 2 points off the top, by the way. Palace coming off a 3-0 win in their Conference League match. And City coming off the big 2-1 win over Real Madrid in Champions League. Palace with 8 in the last 5. City with 13 in the last 5. And, you know, they have Mr. Haaland, top scorer, on 15. And gonna go against the grain here and hoping for a Palace win. Yeah, going with a big, bold prediction here, hoping that Palace can do it against City. Let's see. Sunday EPL continuing. 17th place Forest versus 11th place Spurs. Forest coming off the 2-1 win in their Europa League match. Spurs coming off a big 3-0 win over Slavia Prague in Champions League. Spurs with 11 in the last 5. Forest with only 6 in the last 5. But Forest surprisingly have won the previous 2 against Spurs. I might tell them not to go with a draw for this one, but I'm going to go with a Spurs win. So let's see if Spurs could continue their fine run of form here against Forest. Forest in some trouble in 17th. So left to be seen whether they're going on stage a comeback in this match. Then we have 9th place Sunderland, high flying Sunderland versus 12th place Newcastle. Sunderland coming off the 3-0 loss to City though after doing so well in their previous games recently. Newcastle coming off a 2-2 with Leverkusen, Bayer Leverkusen in the Champions League. Sunderland with 6 in the last 5, but no clean sheets in 7 matches. Newcastle with 11 in the last 5, and no clean sheets in 7 matches as well. And my time to go with a Newcastle win here, but I'm going with a draw, Sunderland Newcastle. And then we have 18th place West Ham, in relegation, versus 3rd place Villa. Villa in 3rd, 3 points behind the leaders. People counting them out. Next thing, Villa come on win the league here. Let's see. West Ham coming off the 1-1 draw with Brighton, and Villa coming off the 2-1 win over Basel in the Europa League. Villa with 11 in the last 5 and haven't lost to West Ham in the last 6 meetings. And they're on an 8-game winning streak. Wow. Really, really great going by Villa. West Ham, they have 7 in the last 5 and no clean sheet in 12. Have to go with a Villa win, hoping Villa could win. And probably, let's see if City and Arsenal slip up. We will see. Brentford in 14th versus Leeds in 16th. Brentford coming off the 2-0 loss to Spurs, and Leeds coming off the big 3-all draw with Liverpool last minute there. Leeds with 10 in the last 5 and no clean sheets in the last 12, and Brentford 7 in the last 5 and no goals in the last 2, by the way. I was actually thinking a Leeds win for this, but I'm going to go with a draw. Brentford versus Leeds, a draw. Continuing Sunday in Serie A, we have Juventus versus Bologna. Bologna is 5th place, Juventus 7th, surprisingly, Bologna above. Bologna coming off a 2-1 win over Celta Vigo in, I think that's Europa, and Juventus coming off a 2-0 win over Parfus FC in Champions League. Juventus with 10 goals in the last 5, Bologna with 10 in the last 5 as well, but no clean sheet in 5. Have to go with a Juve win here, hoping Juve can get it done in the league, as they've been doing pretty well in the Champions League. So, hoping for a Juve win. Continuing on the Sunday in La Liga, we have Deportivo Alaves in 11th place versus Real in 2nd. Deportivo Alaves coming off the 1-0 win over Sociedad, so they're doing good recently. 5 goals in the last 5 only. Real coming off a 2-1 loss to City. 9 goals in the last 5, and have Mbappe the top scorer on 16. I'm really hoping that Real can bounce back in this match and get it done versus Deportivo Alaves. And well, I guess all Real Madrid fans will be hoping that Barca slips up and they're able to climb back up the table. And then the Monday night football EPL, we have Man U versus Bournemouth. Man U in 6th, surprisingly, versus Bournemouth in 13th. Man U coming off the big 4-1 win over Wolves, and Bournemouth coming off the 0-0 with Chelsea. Bournemouth only 4 in the last 5, no goals in the last 2, and no win in the last 6. So Bournemouth going through a really bad spell right now. Man U with 9 goals in the last 5, but no clean sheets in the last 8. Going to go out on a limb here and hoping Bournemouth can bounce back, and going with a Bournemouth win in this one. Bournemouth to beat Man U in the Monday Night Football. So let's see, guys. Those are my match day predictions for round 16 in English Premier League, Serie A, and La Liga. Let me know what you think. Who's your team? How you doing? And yeah, we'll be back soon for the review. Don't forget, like, share, subscribe on GSP Talk Sports. GSP here on GSP Talk Sports. And take care, guys.